A $20 billion Gulf spill compensation fund getting its czar today as Ken Feinberg starts his role as administrator of claims for BP.
Feinberg reiterating that court battles are not in anybody's interest, a point he made right here on this program last month. Here it is.
Under this program that I'm setting up, economic loss, I will say to a fisherman or a landowner or a scenic owner of property, I estimate that your loss over the next period of years will be X dollars. Here is a check. If you don't want this check, you don't have to take it. You can go and litigate, try and get more.
All right, is Mr. Feinberg right? A fair and balanced debate right now. Former litigator Eli Mistal says yes, but Brent Coons, a trial lawyer who represents a number of BP oil victims, says proceed with caution. They join us now. Brent, first to you. Why proceed with caution?
Well, I think it's for a number of reasons. First of all, BP can't be trusted, and this is BP's money that's being utilized to pay the claims. Second, Ken Feinberg and his partner Mike Rosen, while they may mean well in this case, they are limited with the purse strings they have available to pay claims, and they themselves are being paid by BP.
Ellie, let's clarify here. Ken Feinberg says if we say here's what you're owed and you take it, and you can't sue anymore. Now, what do you make of that? You as a lawyer, you know lawyers, is that the better route to take, or is it better to say, hey, let me see how I can do with the lawyer on the corner here?
In this particular case, I think it's best if people look at the fund. I mean, certainly I think what we have to do is learn the mistakes from the Exxon Valdez oil disaster, which was managed basically at a level of mass hysteria. We had long wait times for people to get their money. We had lawyers taking a huge amount of the cut. We had the judges saying no and tamping down damages after the fact, so there was mass confusion. The Feinberg Commission, it seems like there's at least going to be some closure for the actual victims, and I think we shouldn't lose sight of who really was hurt here and how to get the most justice for them.
So, Brent, why go to court at all? I mean, it seems like your money's just going to get carved up and taken by lawyers, or you may not get much of a settlement. Why take that risk?
Well, I think it's important to note that the Exxon Valdez situation is not applicable anymore because Congress changed the law and created a law for victims called the Oil Pollution Act in 1990 as a result of that. So companies like Exxon could not drive these cases out for 20 years. So you put your shoe on the other foot. If BP is responsible, as they appear to be, BP wants to be a responsible corporate citizen and pay people. It doesn't matter whether you're in the tort system or in this claims process, and they should run on parallel tracks. And in fact, for our claimants, that's what we're doing. We're recommending they file the claims with the fund. We're anxiously optimistic that this fund may work well. It hasn't worked well to date, but it's a program that's required to be set up and organized by the Oil Pollution Act, and that's what BP is obligated to do, and that's what Mr. Feinberg has been hired to assist them.
So you're suggesting that people should be able to get their money from the government and go through the court system and get even more money from BP directly?
No, it's not getting the money from the government. This is a program set up by the government, but it's funded by BP. This is BP's money.
Right, but they're two different programs. I'm saying there are two opportunities, there are two bites of the apple here potentially for victims. And you know, I can understand why one might support that. I mean, it's certainly who doesn't like two apples? But at some level, I mean, what Feinberg I think is saying here is that if you take our money, you don't have to. But certainly if you do, that should close down the rest of your claims.
Right. Agree to that at some point. Now, when you go with the BP fund, whether it's the Feinberg fund or the one preceding it, if they ever make a final offer, and if they can fund it, which are all questions that remain, if they can, the claimant chooses to go that route, that's good. That does take them out of the tort system. But they shouldn't waive their rights to the tort system and wait to see if the fund works, wait to see what BP's offer is and the fund's offer are, and wait to see if they agree to it.
I don't think that's the issue, Brent. I think that Feinberg is saying we're going to offer you, here's what we assess that you are owed, take it. No lawsuit.
That's right. You can, but you can also file your claim parallel and at least preserve it. The problem is if you wait for months or even years to get your offers from Feinberg. Remember, this is a 4-year program that BP has set up for the funding. We don't know if they're going to fund it. It hasn't been fully funded today. We don't know if it's going to be properly administered. We don't know what Mr. Feinberg and the many hundreds of claims adjusters in this case are going to be willing to pay, what evidence they're going to require, what state law they're going to apply, and what underlying forensic accounting is needed, what underlying forensics with respect to epidemiological or toxicological evidence for the people that were exposed to to the core exit. There's all those issues that remain out there. And I'm just recommending, as a lawyer, whether they hire my firm or any other, that
Ellie,
anyone
last word.
with these
Yeah, I
legal
think the
issues out there,
complication that
they
he's
should
talking about
retain
is actually
counsel.
a really good reason to look seriously at the Feinberg Fund. I mean, this thing can get very, very complicated, and perhaps we're at a situation where tort law, where plaintiff's law isn't really the right way to handle this kind of complication.
Well, Ken Feinberg starts today. We'll be following it. Gentlemen, thank you for the fair and balanced debate. Ellie Mistal, former litigator, and Brent Coons representing BP Oil.